Okay, today's video is an introduction to Trello, what it is and what it can do for you. So people often say to me, Wendy, why do you use Trello in your business? Can't think. So let me explain. So today's video is all about Trello. What I want to do is give you a brief introduction and a brief overview, some of the very basics to get you started with Trello. Now, what is Trello? Trello to me can be envisaged like a huge whiteboard with Post-its all over it that you can move around in a number of ways in order to manage your workflow and your business. Now, in brainybiscuit.com, I actually use Trello to hold all of my ideas, to do all of my content management, and to do all of my workflow. I find it really useful and really helpful, and I'm using the free version of Trello. I've had no need to upgrade. Now, I would be a liar if I said I hadn't used Trello in the past. I have. I've been using it for about 18 months, 2 years now in a previous business. But before going into what I was going to use for Brainy Biscuit, yes, I checked out Monday.com and Asana, both fantastic bits of kit. Monday.com is much more project management than I need because I'm really collaborating with myself. Yes, there's more of me. Asana just didn't fit with what I wanted to do at the moment. So what I want to do in this video is give you an understanding of how it might be able to help you at a very basic level, but also to give you an insight as to where it can go and how powerful a tool it can be. I find Trello to be incredibly useful, and it takes a huge weight off my mind. You can also share things, you know, it's a way to plan things. So let's have a little look and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so this is Trello. And once you've set up your account, this is the homepage that you will get. And Trello very helpfully provides you with some basic templates that may be useful to you in setting up things to do within your business. But I'm going to take you through the idiot's guide to Trello, how to set up boards, how to set up lists, how to set up cards, and a couple of things you can do with them. Now, this is the free version of Trello. It should be more than enough for the things you're going to be doing, certainly in the first instance. And currently for Brainy Biscuit, my business, I'm actually using the free version of Trello. I do and have got a paid for version of Trello in another business of mine. I've been using Trello for about 2 years. I find it invaluable. So the best analogy I can give you is that Trello is a huge whiteboard, and the sort of sub whiteboards in there with loads of post-its stuck all over them that you can move about and copy and put into different categories. So if we take that analogy, this is my big whiteboard all the way around here. And these are my little subject boards, and within there are some lists and some cards, which are the post-its. But this is your home dashboard. This is what it will look like. Now, I've obviously set up a couple of boards already. We've got bookings, events, and talents. I have set up a company called Test Corp, and it is a booking agency for promotional ladies who go off to horse shows and racing car shows and do food shows and help with store openings, which is a business I used to be involved in. So it seemed like a good way to test it all out with you. So here is your homepage, and we're going to set up a board, a brand new board. So obviously what we need to do is whiz over here to the plus symbol, and you've got the option to create a board. Now we're just going to hit the option create a board. For the time being, let's ignore start with a template, which we could do, or the create team, create business team options. That's obviously for sharing, and we will do that in a later video. So let's hit create board. And I'm going to create a board called clients. This little pop-up arrives just here, and I'm going to create a board called clients. Okay, just type it in there. Now, you get various different background images with Trello, and you can change them. I think that looks like a jellyfish, but I could make it plain blue, or I could add different photographs. which I will do now. So let's hit the 3 dots and let's go to photos. Let's see more and let's put in a racing car. Okay, there we go. And we've got some options for racing cars. So let's go for, I don't know, that one. Okay, and close that down. And that means now that I've got a racing car as the background image for my client's board where I can store all my client's information. Just before I hit create board, you will see here that I have used 3 of my free 10 boards, 10 free boards even. So with the free version of Trello, you get 10 boards. Now you get a power up, which is a powerful shortcut tool for each board. You can only have one on each board, and we'll go through some of my very favourites in just a moment. But again, it's still very flexible, even though you have limited capabilities with the free option. So here's my client's board. This is the background image I've chosen. I'm going to hit create board. And Trello thinks about it for a moment. And then it takes me directly into the board that I have just created. So it doesn't just pop the new board on my home page, it takes me straight into that new board. Okay, what we also see is it's left the menu up here on the right hand side. Things we can do, I could change the background for example, but I quite like my racing car, and I can put a description about the board. So if you are sharing your Trello with other team members, or there are particular instructions that you need to make sure go with this board, I don't know, don't allow Dick, Jane or Spot to use it, then you can add little notes in here. Obviously it tells you who is annotating it so that you can track things back, and then you could put in here only for clients, not for prospects, for example, and hit save. Excuse me, and then close that down. So what we've got now is a brand new board. So I'm going to go home just to show you how it looks by hitting the little home key. Okay, so as you will now see, I've now got my latest board, which is clients with a lovely racing car. I've got bookings, I've got events, and I've got talent. That's a show. I have talent. So let's go back into my clients board. And you will see that I have something here that says add a list. So I'm going to put into here the locations where I have my clients, for example. So all of my clients run events up and down the UK, but predominantly based around big cities. So I'm going to add a list called London. And then I'm going to add a list called Birmingham. Add list and say Manchester. Add list. And every time you add a list, a new list pops up. Now, if I decided that actually I use London a lot, not so much Birmingham, but Manchester is going to be really important, if I want to move the order of the lists, it's very simple to do. You can just move anything, any which way you want. So, whoops. Move that one back over there. So these are my location lists for my fictitious business. So I've got clients in these 3 locations, and this is about them as clients. So let's go back to the home board just for a moment. Okay, so all of my clients, I've got all the information about them there, but I've also got a board called events. So these are the events that these clients are running in various locations. So these are the events in London, in Manchester, nothing going on in Birmingham currently. So let's say that someone's approached me and they're not a client yet, but they are thinking about doing an event in Leeds. I could add, for example, Leeds and add that list there. Or if they change their mind and they don't want to do that anymore, it's very simple because I can delete the list by archiving the list, and it simply takes it away. So it's very flexible and very simple. So what we need to do now, we've created lists and we've created a board. What we actually need to do is to create some cards. So let's go back to our clients board, and there's two ways we can do that. We can hit the home button, or we can bring up our boards here. So this will give you a list of boards, and it will go all the way down if you have lots and lots of boards. So let's go to clients. Now you will see that here, there's a little star. If I go back to boards, you'll see here there's a little star. And if I go home, if I run this over, you'll see that the little star appears. Now, obviously this is an incredibly simple demonstration tool, but if we had hundreds of boards, which you can do, or talking to each other, all interconnected, it might be that you have some boards that you use on a more regular basis than others. So boards that you need to get to quickly. So by hitting the little star key, which you can do from here, from the board itself or from the list view, it actually promotes that board up here so that you can find it easily. And you can do that with 2 or 3, 3 or 4, just to make your life a little bit easier. If you don't want to do that, you can take it off. But I'm actually going to leave my events board as a promoted board. Okay, so what you'll also see is that it shows me what I've recently viewed. So my starred boards become priority, and then it looks at them by my sort of recent viewing, as it were. And because I've only got 4 boards in here, it's currently showing me the template boards that Trello automatically puts out there for us. Okay, so we've now got our boards and our lists. Let's go in and create some cards. So let's go into talent. So these are the lovely, in the main, ladies who provide services at race days or store openings. And we've got Helen and Monica over here in London, Jenny and Jane in Birmingham, and Kate in Manchester. So let's have a look at this. You want to create a new card. You would simply hit add another card, and we could put in here Betty. Add a card, and we could put in here Zoe, and add card. And it's as simple as that in terms of adding cards anywhere. Now, if you wanted to search by your cards, it's usually easier to have them alphabetically. So if you head over to these 3 dots here, you can actually sort by, and then you can sort by the cards alphabetically. So we've now got Betty, Helen, Monica, Zoe, etc. So very simple to add a card in any list, and the add a card always pops down at the bottom unless you use the 3 dots option to add a card up here. So if you had a long list, the add a card option would be right at the bottom. So it might be better just to click here and hit add a card at the top, and then maybe resort them into newest, oldest, or alphabetically. So that's how you would add a card to your list. Now your lists, London, Birmingham, Manchester, in my case, are sort of subheadings, and these are the individual talent within those locations, all on this huge whiteboard of ours. Now I can move my lists about, so we can do that. But just as easily, I can move my cards about, so I can move everybody pretty much anywhere I want to go. So if we open a card, let's open Helen's card here. You can see that Helen is in the London list, but if I moved her and open the card, it would now show me that Helen is in the Birmingham lists. And just for sake of ease, I'm going to put Helen back over there. Okay, so this, we've now got a new board, we've now got new lists, and we know how to add a card. Let's do some more interesting things with the cards so they will help our business, help it be that bit more productive. So let's, first things first, change this pretty pink background and let's put a photograph on it. So for me, some boards are totally blank when I'm working, and the background for ease, and others will have an image associated with them, either an image provided by Trello or one that I've uploaded. If you have multiple boards, sometimes the backgrounds are really useful in terms of helping you find a board quickly if you know what you're looking for, and it helps you categorize your your board slightly. So it depends on how you work, how you see things. I've got people in my other organisation that love photos, and I've got some that just love plain colours. So if you set up a card, it's not fixed. You can actually go to the menu, click the 3 dots and change the background. And because this is my talent board, I'm going to go to photos, and I will look up photos of women. What does it bring us? There we go. Whole group of girls doing various things. So we'll pick, I don't know, we'll pick pretty sunflower girls, and it will upload that to the background. And there we go. So very, very easy to do, and you can upload your own photographs as well. Let's close that down. Right. So talking of photographs, the background photograph, let's go home, will display on your card. So that might help you out in terms of finding your cards. Obviously my bookings card's got date, calendar on it. My client's got racing card, and I've got pretty girls and sunflowers on talent. So that will help you potentially sort out your boards. But what we can also do, if we head back into our talent card, is we've got all of these lovely girls who are waiting to get some kind of promotional work. So it's useful in this instance to actually see what they look like. Now, this could easily, just as easily be a product or a service. So just because I'm going to put pictures of the lovely Monica up, let's say, yeah, it could be absolutely anything. You could put a picture here of your latest product design. It could be a location photograph. It could be a to-do kind of photograph. I mean, it could be absolutely anything. But because of the nature of Test Corp, I'm going to add a cover photograph. So just show you here, go over to the right-hand side, hit cover. And I can add, again, options from Trello. So I can have colours to indicate various groupings. So that might be useful if you want to put things together. But I'm going to upload my cover image from my computer. And I'm going to find the lovely Monica here. Double click and it will upload her cover image. I do have the option of changing the size of this image, and that changes how it's displayed in the list over here. So let's go with that one and close that down and close that down. And you can see now I can easily spot Monica, good old Monica Bellucci, in my Birmingham list. So that's how to attach a cover photograph. It also tells me, because Trello tracks things for me, that that's what I've done. So it indicates here that that's what I've done. I've put a picture of Monica Bellucci at the Women's World Awards in 2009, apparently, up onto my card, on my list, on my board in Trello. So that shows me when I did that. So again, for record keeping, I could look and say, oh, that's a 2009 picture, or I put that image up on this particular date. So I know what's going on. Now, because of the nature of this business, photographs are probably going to be very important. So not only could I put photographs onto all of the cards, so that's the cover photo, upload image, to make it easy for me to find people. There's lovely Helen Mirren. Let's add her. Okay, which way do we have it? We have that view or that view? I think we'll go with that view. It's slightly smaller. Okay, so I now know that's Helen. Close it down. And I've got the images of these two lovely ladies there. So that will help me out. But as I say, it could be products, it could be your service. You could put wedding cakes on there, or wedding cards, or if you're a designer, you can put your designs on there. If you're a florist, you can put your flowers on there. It can be absolutely anything. Okay, so let's go back into Monica, click through into Monica. Monica is currently on our Birmingham list. Now, I need to talk to Monica about something, and I want to be reminded of it. I've got a reminder already set up here, so I'm going to click that one off. and mark it as complete. But I want to talk to Monica, so I'm going to set up a due date. This is a simple calendar reminder tool that will send you a note into your email associated with Trello, so you can go and look on the card and see what you've got to do. So I'm going to set up the fact that on the 9th of September at 9:15 in the morning, it may as well be, I want to talk to Monica about something. Oops, and I've already done that one. So let's do it again. Due date. Let's do the 11th and save. Okay, so the 11th of September at 9:15, I need to talk to her. No, that's not complete. So let's remove that and add the right due date. So because that was the wrong due date, let's add the right due date. Okay, so now the 11th at 9:15, and when it's done, I can check that box. Okay, so that was just a helpful little tool in terms of being able to manage things. So you'll get a note into your inbox telling you you've got to do something. Now, what we can do here is you'll notice activity. So Trello records activity. I can write a comment in here saying what it is I want to talk to her about on the 11th of September. So that when I look at her card later, I'll know what it is I need to talk to her about, what the subject is. And when it's done, I would hit the checkbox and it would be completed, a useful little tool. So if you need to put dates in diaries, very useful. Now, I have added a power up to this particular board. Now, with the free version of Trello, you get one power up per board, and the power ups are actually the powerful part of Trello. So the boards, the lists, and the cards are great for storing information and moving information around, but the power ups are the truly powerful part because they take away a lot of the work for you. So if you go to the menu button on the right hand side and go down here, it says power ups, and you can click the power ups button. Which it's thinking about. And it brings up all of the different power ups that you have. And there's something for everybody, trust me. There's lots of stuff you can do. Okay, you can look at all of those. You can search by what you want. So on this particular card, I've already added attaching my Google Drive to this particular board. But you can search over here for maps, and it will bring up, you could add the maps option or calendar, etc. As I say, I'm only allowed one power up, and I've added Google Drive to this board. So that's how you add a power up. And you also know that you've added that particular power up because it appears here. It shows you on the board here. So let's go back to Monica. And you'll also notice that over here on the right hand side in her card, we actually have the words Google Drive. So if you click on the Google Drive button, it will automatically take you to my Google Drive. I'm going to attach a file, and it will connect through to my Google Drive. And it will bring up some of the photos. I'm going to go into the Monica file, and I'm going to attach that particular photo, and it will load it. And there it pops up, and it's created blah, blah, blah. So I could also attach a folder rather than attaching an individual picture. I can attach, go to the Monica folder, select, and it will then load all of the images that are in that particular folder, which happen to be those three. So I've attached my Google Drive, which is up here, to my Trello using the power up on this particular board, my talent board, and that allows me to automatically attach photos files or folders onto my Trello card. So this is my Google Drive, and you will see all the images of the promo girls, and you'll see here, there's my Monica folder. And if I open my Monica folder, those 3 images on my Google Drive have actually appeared on Monica's card. So it's a really useful tool. So if you store images or documents or things that you need in Google Drive, you can attach them to your individual cards very simply. So let's just go over to Helen, and we will do exactly the same as Helen, but we'll simply attach a folder. It brings up all of the folders that I have. Attach Helen. Oops, that's my fault. So go to Google Drive, attach folder, go to Helen and set attach, and it's loading, and then the images we have for Helen Mirren are obviously now stored on here. So a very useful power-up if you want to connect your Google Drive and stuff that you have in there in various folders or just in the drive itself with your Trello. Terribly, terribly powerful. Okay, so what else could we do that's very simple and very useful? Well, the other thing we could do is we could actually attach some locations. Now, for this particular business, for Brainy Biscuit, it's not important at all currently, but for Test Corp, my promotions business, it's really important that I know where people are. So let me go home. And on my events board, I have attached the power up for maps. So again, very simply, I've gone into the menu, I've gone to power ups, and I've selected Google Maps. And what this then allows me to do is it allows me to put the exact location onto the card. So let's go to this George's Racing Day in London, and I put in the address and it's brought up the location. I just have to select Tower Bridge, but to show you to actually demonstrate this, let's go to Manchester. Let's say we go to the Jazz Festival in Manchester. We go to location and we search a location in Manchester. Piccadilly Station, Manchester is as good as any. So you start to type in the address. It will pick up various locations. And there you go. You have Piccadilly Station in Manchester, which apparently is where the Jazz Festival is going to happen. So first power up I've used connects my Google Drive to my individual cards, which is really useful. And the next power up I've used is one that gives me Google Maps so that I have a specific location for my events, and I can then forward that information out of the card. Now, for me, one of the other things that's very useful and very powerful is actually the calendar power up. So let's go home again. And I've put the calendar power up onto my bookings board so that I know what's going on my bookings board. So again, I would go to the menu, I would go to power ups, and I have selected calendar. And the calendar icon is showing there. So I can add something else to do in my doing list. So I'm booking flowers for some particular event. So I'm booking flowers for this particular event. So if I add that card, if I then open this card and put a due date in, I'm going to put a due date of the 16th of September in and save. The due date pops up here, but if I then toggle through to the calendar view and I move down, you can see that the flowers that are important for an event on the 16th are actually showing in the calendar view. So you can put something into your to-do list or your location list or whatever list you actually have into the standard Trello board, and it will show on the calendar if you have the calendar power-up. You can then also create a card in the calendar view. So let's say cake, as if we're a wedding company, and you can do this in the calendar view. Again, we'll leave the time at 9:15, but you can obviously change that. Now, we've got a couple of options here. Because within my bookings board I have created 3 lists, we have to do, doing, and done. So it's asking me here which one I want to do it in. And because I clicked out of it, it hasn't actually done it. There we go. So I want to put that in the doing list. If I add that, you will see that booking the cake appears on the 24th. And if I go toggle back across to my Trello view, you'll actually see that booking the cake has appeared there. I'm going to put it underneath in my doing box. So the calendar power up is very useful if you're wanting to track events and what you are doing. Now you can also connect your calendar on Trello to your Google Calendar, which we'll do at a later stage because it's slightly more complicated, but it's again an incredibly useful tool. So far we can work our way around Trello. We know how to get home. We know how to create a board. We know how to create lists within our board, which could be absolutely anything. We know how to create cards. So let's put an event in there. What event can we have? We can have a book club. Who needs somebody to go? Okay. So we can create a card. Within the card, depending on what you want to do, you can add various descriptions and save that. Very useful. You could add a cover photo from your computer or from Trello. You can make sure that you keep a record of, oops, that's me clicking the keyboard, you can keep a record of all the activity that you need to do. And you can add power-ups. In this particular situation, I have the location power-up on here. So let's put in Birmingham, UK, and it's going to bring it up for me. So we can now actually use Trello to start to work with our business. We've also got the option of putting due dates in, which we'll set as reminders, and we have the calendar option available to us on one of our boards as well, depending on what you're actually doing. So instead of having all of those post-its all over your desk, all over the wall, all over the dog, what you've now got is one place where you can have absolutely everything that you can move about at will. Very simple, very easy, incredibly basic. There are all sorts of other things that we can do. So there are things such as we can create checklists in here. We can connect cards together, we can connect lists together, we can move things automatically. As I say, Trello is an incredibly powerful event. But just to give you that overview, I think that's probably enough for today. If you've never seen Trello before, now you know how to create a board, create a list, create a card, attach photographs, attach locations, attach files, and how to put due dates in and have a calendar. So I hope that's been useful for you in as much as it is simply an overview of how to start to use the tool. Now, in my current business in Brainy Biscuit, as I say, in Brainy Biscuit, I am not using a paid for version. So I do have some limitations, but within the limitations of the free version, I manage all of my ideas, I manage all of my content, and I manage all of my workflow, which we can certainly go through in the next video. So I hope that's been useful. I hope that's given you a starter for 10, as they say. There's so much more we can do on Trello. So I will be talking to you soon, I'm very sure, about Trello and what happens next.
So that's my introduction to Trello. I hope you have enjoyed the video. I find Trello to be an incredibly powerful tool, and yes, as I have admitted, I've used it in the past for very large businesses where we've all had to collaborate. Now, this was a very simple video. It gives you the starter for 10, and I hope you found it really interesting. Obviously, there are other videos in the series, and I would love to hook up with you on those as well. So in the meantime, if you have liked this video, enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, where I'm putting out much more information, not just on Trello, but how to get confidence, how to get anything you want, and indeed my heartfelt minimalism. So I look forward to seeing you again on this channel very soon. If not here, then join me at brainybiscuit.com, where I have a video about how to get anything you want. Yes, really. Or head over to Instagram and Facebook, The Brainy Biscuit, where I would love to see you there. In the meantime, I want to build some business confidence in absolutely everybody, so check me out on the website at brainybiscuit.com. I'll talk to you guys very soon indeed. Subscribe and like. See you soon.